It's the Andrew Christopher Show. With Andrew Christopher, your host. It's the Andrew Christopher Show. But really we call it the AC Show. Yeah, we really call it the AC Show. Really call it the AC Show. It's the AC Show.
It's the AC Show with AC, your host. Check it out.
What is up, podcast fans? Welcome to the AC Show. I am your host, Andrew Christopher. Hope you guys are having a great week, whatever you've been doing. Hopefully you're not quite as crazy busy as I've been, but life's good. It's good to be busy for sure. We'll get into a bit more of that later. I feel like I've found the perfect place to record my podcasts just before we move. So that kind of sucks. But the couch is coming with us. And what we're doing this episode is the big comfy couch experiment. So I'm here just sitting on my couch, trying to be a bit more relaxed maybe. It'll help. Who knows? All I know is it's a lot more comfortable. And if I end up falling asleep, taking a little nap, it's a win-win. I can just pause it. You guys won't know. I'll go back and record the rest later. And I'll get a few extra Z's in. I wanted to check out and see if there's any fans out there who might want to weigh in on the next Basic Hoes versus Basic Bros episode if I do another one. So what we did last time was there's a couple guys and a couple girls on a podcast and asked them why they thought they should be my next guest, like in studio for a full interview. Just some of my friends who have been listening or fans who may express interest in being on the show. Just send me a message or comment on the show and let me know that you would like to be considered for the next Basic Hoes versus Basic Bros episode. And maybe I'll be giving you a call. I might do this one next week. So let me know if you think you could bring something to the table that would entertain the listeners, or if you think we could just have a interesting conversation, then give me a shout and I'll put you on the list and maybe you'll be getting a phone call next week. I'll let you know if you're going to be getting a call at least anyways. So I was going to start off with a quick little segment of
Family time, family time, ooh, 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 it's family time, it's family time, woo, yeah!
Love that tune. I'll never get sick of that one. So it's family time, you guys. And a pretty serious note here. It'll just be a quick one. Like, I never go too in-depth on these things, but sometimes I feel like parents and myself included need a reminder on some of these things when we're trying to deal with our kids. Or even if you don't have kids, if you're, helping out with nieces or nephews or what have you. I think we can all take something away from it and being a bit more understanding. Because I feel like it's a big problem that adults, parents expect a bit too much out of their kids or out of children in general. And we come down on them pretty harsh when they're having a bad day or if they're acting out or if they don't do something they were told to do. We're very quick to dish out the punishment or the discipline or get angry and upset with them. And I mean, sometimes sure it's warranted, but I think we need to slow down a bit sometimes and remind ourselves that these are just kids. And even as adults, we have bad days. We act inappropriately sometimes. We say things we shouldn't. We do things we shouldn't. We don't do things that we should. If maybe it's on our to-do list and we're like, just can't do it today. Don't have the energy, don't have the time. Or if it's just a bad day, like I said, and we're in a grumpy mood, something's pissed us off and maybe we're not as nice as we could be all day or not as productive. For adults, we kind of, I guess we beat ourselves up a little bit, but we can get away with it a lot of the time without any repercussions. But if you're a kid and you act that way, you've got a parent to come down on you immediately and say, why aren't you doing this? Or why are you acting this way? And it's just, adults don't get called out on it, but we're calling out our kids on it all the time. Sometimes I'm sure our spouse or a partner, or girlfriend, whatever, will say, hey, you're in a pretty bad mood. You should lighten up a bit or whatever. But it's nothing to the effect that we would discipline our kids or come down on them. And so we got to remember, these are just kids. And they're struggling with a lot of the things that adults do in life. Lots of questions, lots of emotions. And we got to remind ourselves that if we can have these bad days, then why can't these kids have these bad days? If we can have the bad days and we don't want anyone coming down on us and treating us, being mean to us because we're just struggling a little bit. If these kids are struggling, why do we come down so harsh on them? So I think it's very important, parents or just adults in general, to remember that these are just kids. Like strangers out in public, look at the kids. They're running around having a good time. Don't frickin' get mad at them for running across the street in front of them. Remind them nicely, be safe, but they're just kids. Let them have some fun. And especially parents, remind yourself that they're just kids. They don't have as many skills or coping mechanisms as adults do. They don't have the tools to deal with these things. And that's our job as parents, is to teach them, help them understand their feelings, and help them build tools in their personality within themselves to recognize their emotions and what they're doing. Help them figure it out. Don't just discipline them. Don't just come down on them and tell them everything they're doing wrong and get mad at them, because they're just kids and we need to help them more than we help ourselves and more than we ask people to help us. Some of it seems like common sense, but when you're in a busy house with crazy kids running around all the time, it's easy to forget these things. So my little reminder to you guys, just to, treat kids like kids, be a bit more understanding, and really try and help them figure out what's going on in their lives with their emotions and their behaviors. Help them understand instead of disciplining or punishing. Like I said, I need the reminder too, so hopefully that didn't come across too harsh. My wife's probably thinking, oh, you're talking just at me. That's totally not fair. But no, I'm talking to myself too. So there you go. A little bit of family time for you guys. And so specifically for this episode, I figured I'm going to start trying to find theme songs for like my episodes, because now that I'm not doing the video, I'm allowed to play a bit of music on here. Being a musician, you think that would come a bit more naturally to me. But so here's the theme song for this week's podcast, and it should explain what we're talking about here.
Wish we could turn back time to the good old days when the mama sang us to sleep, but now we're stressed out. Wish we could turn back time to the good old days when the mama sang us to sleep, but now we're stressed out. Used to play pretend, give each other different names. We would build a rocket ship and then we'd fly it far away. Used to dream of outer space, but now they laugh.
There you go. Little 21 Pilots, hey? You probably recognize that one. And the song, aptly named Stressed Out. The lyrics, I don't know, it's so funny. I forget what Jaden used to think the lyrics are. It'll probably come to me in a second here. But the lyrics are, wish we could turn back time to the good old days when our mamas sang us to sleep, but now we're stressed out. And she thought it was when life was simple or something. I guess it kind of made sense too. She thought it was, wish we could turn back time to the good old days when life was simple. I don't know. She said something about simple, but it was kind of funny. But the actual lyrics, when our mamas sang us to sleep, but now we're stressed out. And that's kind of what I've been thinking a lot about, is how stressed out I've been lately. And don't get me wrong, this isn't a woe is me kind of podcast, but I'm just hoping this kind of relates to some people, and maybe when they hear this, they'll think, wow, maybe I'm a bit more stressed out than I even think I am. And I need to really put some time aside for myself to take care of me and make sure I'm getting through these days okay. Because I know Jamie told me just yesterday, we were kind of talking, saying, I think we do a really good job parenting our kids. We love them so much and we're always there for them. We think we're doing a good job on that front. But in our relationship and taking care of ourselves, I think we can still do some work. And I think it's fine to admit that. I think it's a good thing if we can admit that to each other. But she especially said, she does have a really hard time taking care of herself because, well, she's taking care of a newborn right now and the other kids, and she takes care of me often, and there's a lot going on around here. So she admitted that, which is good. She's admitted it before, and I'm just really determined to kind of push her to take care of herself. And same as me, I got to push myself to take care of me. And then after that, I think everything else will get even better in our relationship and the time with the kids. Because you really can't take care of anyone else unless you're taking care of yourself. It's such a cliche, but again, people just need these reminders. So yeah, it kind of came to me last night thinking about how stressed out I was when I woke up from a dream, and I just jotted down in my notes some things I was dreaming about or thinking about, and then it kind of clicked, and I was like, man, all my dreams that I can remember, like in recent memory, are either me forgetting something, or someone is missing, or something is missing, or me not being able to do something I would normally be able to do. Like, it's funny. Some of my dreams that I hate the most are so frustrating. One specifically, it's like I'm on the basketball court. I used to play a lot of basketball in high school, and I'm on the basketball court, and we're in a big game, and for some reason I just can't dribble. Like, I'm running and tripping over my feet, or I put the ball down and it won't bounce back up, or I bounce it and I miss it with my other hand, and just like these simple things that I know I can do, I'm not able to do. And it's so frustrating in the dream, and I wake up and I'm like, oh, thank God, I still know how to dribble a basketball. Well, so that's one of those kind of specific dreams that I have. And another one about, forgetting stuff is, again, I'm a big sports guy, so it's a lot of sports related stuff. And I, go to a hockey game. I got called up to play in a big hockey game, like maybe with the Canucks even or something. And I get there and I've forgotten my skates. And it's like, oh shit. Like, sure, if I didn't have an elbow pad or something, I could have played. But I forgot my skates, and so I'm rushing around town trying to get back to my house and get back to the rink so that I can play with the Vancouver Canucks. And the rest of the dream is just me struggling to find my skates and struggling to get back to the rink and struggling to tie them up, something like that. It just kind of clicked last night. Like I said, I'm like, all these dreams, it's all just stress related. Like, they're all stressful situations, and I'm stressing out in my dreams at night while I'm trying to sleep. So I'm sure that means I'm not getting a great sleep. Yeah, I guess maybe that's part of why I feel so tired all the time. And then I thought, well, it's kind of like what I'm feeling in real life when I'm awake, going about my day, trying to get all this stuff done. Constantly feel like I'm forgetting to do something, the most important thing. So I make lists and I look back at my list and I'm like, oh man, I forgot to do that again. And now another day's gone by and I haven't done it. Then I'm driving out to work and I'm feeling like, man, there's something else I'm missing. What else didn't I do? And it ties into relationships as well. Like, things I'm forgetting to do for Jamie or for my family or for my friends. And it's the busyness of life gets in the way and you forget to do some of the most important things around you. And so I'm trying to find ways to combat that feeling and missing out on those things. So trying to find solutions to help reduce some of the stress in my life so that I can focus on what is really important, starting with family and those relationships and work and, then this golf tournament that's really close to me and, just dealing with my own emotions and everything and trying to help myself put that in order of, most important to least important. And it's not easy. And like I said, I'm talking about this as a reminder for everybody to think, maybe there's a lot more going on in your life than you know about, and we need to figure out ways to slow down. And one might be stay off electronics a bit more. The podcast is fine. You can just listen to it. You're not really looking at anything or playing around. But putting the phone away for a bit, really disconnecting, and just connecting with yourself. I feel like I'm getting a bit hokey, spiritual. Some of you might think that, but I've been really trying to do a lot more of this, inward thinking, and for me, I've been trying to do some stretching, which I guess, kind of like a yoga thing, stretching and breathing, just really light exercise, to try and help me deal with some of this stress and try and get my thoughts organized for what I got to do for the rest of the day. And it was on Joe Rogan podcast. I think it was Tom Papa he was interviewing, and Tom's a comedian, super busy guy. And he says he's found this meditation he does for 20 minutes. I think he said twice a day. And he says his productivity's just been through the roof. So he's busy, takes 20 minutes, does this meditation. I guess it helps get his body back in balance. And then busy, does his 20 minutes, and then kind of before his nighttime routine where he gets time with his family or whatever. And he said, it's just because we're bombarded. There's so much information and just so much stimulation out in the world today coming at us at all times, mostly to do with technology and our phones, being on there too much on the Facebooks and Instagrams, but even just in the world in general, right? It's so busy. There's more people, there's more traffic, there's more buildings and shops, and there's just something everywhere in all parts of our day. And he said that's why he needs these 20-minute meditations to ignore all that and kind of reset his system, I guess he was saying. He says it works for him. And so that's kind of what I've been looking into a bit more, is finding that little bit of time for myself every day. And because I was going to the gym a lot, which was helping. And then my shoulder's been a mess and my hamstring's been a mess. I'm getting old. And so I'm really trying to just deal with those problems. And so I'm taking a bit of time off of the actual weightlifting and stuff, and trying to find other forms of exercise that I can be comfortable doing and not making these problems worse. And so while I'm trying to figure that out and going to see doctors and specialists or whatever, I'm just focusing on stretching, stretching myself out, breathing, getting my body back in balance, and trying to get my mind a bit more balanced so that I can start getting through these days a bit more productively and hopefully a bit more happy. So yeah, that's something I've been thinking about. And I encourage you, if you think you've got some extra stress going on, then make sure you're taking that time for yourself. And babe, Jamie, I hope you find it for yourself, and we can help you find something that you're going to be able to do to help calm yourself down and get through these days. Not that you need to calm down. It's okay. So you're fine. Not that you need to calm down, but I would just like to see you, more relaxed, happy, getting through days a bit easier, as I'm sure we all wish we could. And I think there's things we can do. And I'll say it again, put your fucking phone down. And because my screen time was slowly creeping up again on my phone. And now I'm like, frick, I'm stressed out as ever. Got to start changing something. So bringing my screen time back down, trying this stretching, breathing, all that stuff. Getting out into nature, going for just walks, nice quiet walks if you can. I think there's a lot of stuff we can do to help ourselves, and a lot of excuses we make for why we don't do that. But yeah, anyway, there's a little bit about being stressed out. I did have another a little topic I wanted to bring around in case there's other musicians listening in kind of gig life stuff or whatever, and because I was having an interesting conversation with the guy. He's kind of become like a pen pal, I guess. You remember pen pals back in the day? I think that's another cool thing people should get back into. Actually writing letters and sending them halfway across the world. I'm sure a lot of people still do it, but I do not. So maybe I'll try doing that, putting pen to paper and saying hi to someone. That would feel pretty cool, wouldn't it? To get like a big 2-page letter in the mail from somebody you met randomly or a long time ago that you've kind of lost touch with halfway across the world. But anyway, so my point being, I got a random message from a musician in the UK, in England. His name's Andy. Coincidentally, I'm Andrew. And I'm sure he won't mind me giving his full name because he's an artist and he's got music out on Spotify and everything. It's Andy Robbins. If you want to check out his music, first of all, it's really cool. I listened to his album yesterday and it's, really kind of, I think it's a pretty acoustic driven, but almost, for Canadians out there listening, almost like some Michael Bublé kind of really adult contemporary kind of stuff, but really cool lyrics and melodies, and they're all put together really well. So yeah, check out some of the music if you want. But he sent me a message just out of the blue on Facebook saying, "Hey man, I found your podcast online and I love it." And then just talked a bit about himself and said he just wanted to reach out, and I was freaking over the moon. This was kind of, and I told him, I was like, "This is great, man. I really appreciate your feedback," and because it was the first like complete stranger to reach out and say they've found the podcast and are really enjoying it. So it really made my day, because I know I have a lot of, we're getting quite a few downloads here. It's going pretty well. But it's still mostly people within a couple degrees of separation, if you know what I mean. So it's friends or family, or Facebook friends who, I maybe don't really know, but we've, probably seen each other on Facebook or whatever, or maybe met once or twice, or just friends of friends, maybe never met, but we have some connection. And so it was just really interesting to have this guy reach out. So we've been chatting a little bit, and the last message I got from him, I was just asking, how are gigs going and stuff. And he said, gig life has actually been pretty stressful for him. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. It is for me too sometimes. It's a great job. We get to do what we love. But a lot of the time the situations aren't ideal. And so even doing what you love can be kind of hard and emotional. And so he was just saying, he's doing these gigs a lot. He's working full time at his normal job. And then he tries to get to the gym, and then at night he's going out to gigs, or he's running open mics or something like that. And he said every time lately it's been feeling like more work, and like I think he said he feels like he's a chimp performing for people who don't really care about him and don't really care about his music. And I can totally relate to that. I get those feelings a lot sometimes when you go into a pub and you're playing music for people who are just there to chat with their buddies, or people who are there just because they're depressed and they want to drink away their sorrows or whatever. It can be tough. It can be a bit disheartening. And because, when you're playing music and singing these songs, especially Andy, who I know does a lot of original stuff, singing your original song, something you composed and wrote and put your heart into, and you feel like you're not getting that love back, it can be, it can be a bit disheartening and pretty emotional and stressful. You start thinking, am I good enough? Why aren't people relating to this? Why don't they like it? I know I'm kind of putting words in Andy's mouth, but mostly this is what I feel sometimes on stage. And I just think I can relate to that. And, so it was just interesting that he brought that up yesterday when I was talking to him, and then I had these dreams and it all kind of clicked together. But, I think we need to, specifically as musicians, we need to really focus on writing these songs and singing them for ourselves to get our emotions out, rather than making it connect to other people. Because if that's your goal, then you do set yourself up for failure a lot of the time, especially in these kind of gigs that we're playing. But if you're playing them and try and focus that, I just want to sing this song, I want to feel this way again, then it's a bit easier to feel fulfilled with what you're playing and singing. For everyone in life, it's just doing whatever you're doing for who and what's most important to you. So doing something for your family, or if you're doing something for yourself that you love to do, stop caring about what everyone else thinks about it or about you or about your family and what you guys are doing or what you're looking like or what car you're driving or whatever. And we really just start to need to take care of ourselves and who's closest to us, trying to love ourselves a bit more. And if you need help doing that, ask for help. Ask people who are closest to you. You know, hey, do you have any ideas? I'm feeling down. What could I do for myself? Do you think that would maybe make me feel a bit better? And in saying that, they'll probably turn around and say, well, what can I do for you? Maybe there's something I can be doing. Maybe we can go out on a hike together or something like that. I told my sister Carolyn that, you know, she bugs me all the time about going on hikes, and it makes me feel good and I want to do it. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, but I tell her, I'm like, hey, don't stop doing that. I would love to get out with you sometime. I'm really enjoying it. So keep bugging me. So people out there, keep bugging your friends to do things with them, right? They said it'll make them feel good, like if they're wanted to be around. And try not to take it too harshly if they can't do it. And sorry, Carolyn, that I keep turning you down. It'll line up one day. Excuse me. Yeah, you guys. So that's, you know, I knew it was kind of going to be a short one again here. And I hope you don't mind, but I've been a bit stressed out, like I'm saying. So hope you guys kind of enjoyed it and could maybe take something away from that. And I'm going to continue to keep trying to take care of myself and help my wife take care of herself and just loving my family, and doing those things that are most important to you. Stop focusing on what you think the world is telling you to do, is judging you or thinking of you. And just focus on what you think of yourself and your family, and improve those areas of your life if you can. And if you need help, send me a message. Basic hoes and basic bros out there, if you want to be on the AC show, let me know, and let me know what you think you'd bring to the table, and maybe I'll give you a call next week or within the coming weeks for that next episode. Could be fun. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this. We're getting pretty deep into it. I think this is episode 32, and I said I was doing 52, so we're well over halfway there. I've been enjoying it. I hope I can continue, and I mean, it's reaching people like Andy out in England that really make me think it's possible to build a bit of a network here. And I mean, the main thing, at least, getting my costs covered, because it does cost a bit of money to put these things up. So, you know, if we can help attract some kind of sponsors or something, people out there who want to give their small business or big business a little shout out here and there to my loyal listeners, then pass the message along. And anyway, but you guys just keep listening. And I hope you guys have a great week, whatever you're doing. And I will catch you next time.
It's the Andrew Christopher Show.
And the comfy couch worked great.
Your ho-ho-hos.
I feel fantastic.
It's the Andrew Christopher Show.
Woo.
But really we call it the AC Show. Yeah, we really call it the AC Show. Really call it the AC Show. It's the AC Show.
It's the AC show with AC, your host. Check it out.